Namaste. In the previous class, we looked at the preparation of aldehydes. We looked at few name reactions as well: Rosenman reduction, Stephens reduction, Gatterman-Koch reaction. I hope you have practiced each one of those reactions. Today, we'll continue with the preparations and starting with the preparation of ketones. The first method is involving acyl halides or acid chlorides and dialkyl cadmium. So the starting compounds are acyl chlorides and dialkyl cadmium. Now this is cadmium chloride. How do I get dialkyl cadmium? So this is dialkyl cadmium. In order to get dialkyl cadmium, I need to react RMgX, which is nothing but our Grignard reagent. 2 moles of the Grignard reagent reacts with cadmium chloride, giving us dialkyl cadmium. So this is what is one of the reagents required. Now this dialkyl cadmium reacts with acyl chloride. Now this is our acyl chloride. So what happens here? We can observe closely. I'm taking 2 moles of the acyl chloride. The reason I'm taking 2 moles is because cadmium has a valency of 2. So this cadmium will take away both the chlorine atoms to go out as cadmium chloride. So it'll go out as what? It'll go out as cadmium chloride. Now, in place of the chlorine, who's coming in? Yes, in place of the chlorine, the R group comes in, forms a bond with the carbon atom. The moment it forms a bond with the carbon atom, what am I getting? I will get R dash C double bond O R, which is what is mentioned here. R dash C double bond O R, which is nothing but my ketone. Clear? So let me just go through this reaction once again. Now we need to react an acid chloride with dialkyl cadmium in order to get a ketone. I do not have dialkyl cadmium, so I need to prepare dialkyl cadmium before the reaction happens. In order to prepare dialkyl cadmium, I take cadmium chloride and react it with a Grignard reagent. This gives the dialkyl cadmium, which is in turn used up in the second step. When it reacts with 2 moles of the acid chloride, cadmium chloride is removed, which results in the formation of a ketone. So this is one of the methods of preparation of ketones. I want you to take a homework here. I want you to prepare acetone using this method. I want you to prepare acetone. Acetone is the simplest ketone. I hope you remember the structure of acetone. There are 3 carbons involved. Its IUPAC name is, yes, 2-propanone. 2-propanone or acetone is what I want you to prepare using this method. That's your first homework. Let's move on. The second method. Now we looked at Stephens reduction in preparation of aldehydes, where we started with a nitrile. Even here we are starting with a nitrile, and nitrile is made to react with a Grignard reagent. Clear? RMgX. Let's understand how the reaction works. Now this is a cyanide or a nitrile, RCN. This is made to react with RMgX. Now the polarities are clearly defined. R is negatively charged and magnesium is positively charged, naturally, because magnesium is a metal. Compared to a metal, a carbon is more electronegative. It will pull electrons towards itself. Thereby, we see a partial negative charge on R and a partial positive charge on plus. Clear? Now, the electron shifts to a more electronegative element, which is nitrogen. So these 2 electrons shift to nitrogen when the R group attacks. So the R group here, which is negatively charged, takes away the bond and attacks this carbon. The moment it happens, the carbon will have 5 bonds around it. In order to go back to its 4-bond structure, this bond will break. One of the pi bonds will break and go on nitrogen to become the negative charge. Now this negative charge is used up by MgX to form a bond. So what's basically happening is very simple. R minus from here attacks carbon, forms a bond. This bond shifts onto nitrogen, forming a negative charge. MgX is devoid of electrons. It needs to form a bond with somebody quickly. MgX with the positive charge will attack the negative charge or take away the electrons of this negative charge to form a bond. NMgX. Clear? And this is ionic in nature because the force of attraction is electrostatic in nature. N minus Mgx plus is what is formed. And there is a solid bond that is formed between carbon and R. Clear? So this is the first step. Now you can clearly observe a ketonic part here. Can you see that? Yeah. Now this portion resembles a ketone. All we need to do in the next step is remove this NMgX and introduce oxygen. That's what we will do by adding acid in water. This is basically acid hydrolysis. When you add an acid in water, you get the resultant hydronium ion H3O plus, which will convert this into a ketimine. This is an imine, and since it resembles a ketonic structure here, this is called as a ketimine. Now what's happened in the ketimine? MgX has gone out. So MgX has gone out, and subsequent hydrolysis, there is removal of this NH from water. 2 hydrogens are taken away by NH to go out as NH3. From water, there's that remaining oxygen. That oxygen gets incorporated in place of NH to form the ketone. Yeah, this is an important method, one of the important methods of preparing ketone. So let's look at this reaction once again. So what are we starting with? We are starting with a nitrile. A nitrile is made to react with a Grignard reagent. Now the polarities in a Grignard reagent are pretty much defined. The R group is negatively charged. So this R group will take the electrons of this bond and go out as a negative charge and attack this carbon, which is relatively positively charged. The moment this happens, there's a bond that's formed. Because a bond is formed here between this carbon and this R, carbon will have 5 bonds around it. To compensate for that, one of the pi bonds from here will break and the electrons will get shifted to nitrogen. Thereby nitrogen gets a negative charge. Now this species is negatively charged. I have one more species which is positively charged here, which is MgX. These two come closer to form an ionic compound here as shown. In the second step, we basically try to react this ion with this salt with with water, traces of acid, basically carrying out acid hydrolysis. When we do that, there's an intermediate that's formed, which is a ketimine. This intermediate then further breaks down in the presence of water. Upon removal of NH3, we get ketone. Clear? So this is the second method. Prepare acetone again using this method. So take this as homework. Prepare acetone using nitrile and Grignard reagent. So acetone is CH3COCH3. Now the R's are pretty much defined, R and R dash. All you need to do is go back and find out what your starting compounds are and then go through this entire process. Clear? Now this is one of the reasons why you should know the names of compounds and their structure. Now the moment I ask you to prepare acetone, if you do not know the structure of acetone, you're lost. You don't know what to write. You keep writing anything under the sun when you are trying to write this reaction. So that's the reason why I kept telling you the nomenclature of compounds is extremely crucial. You need to know how to write a structure from a name, and from the structure how to write its name. Clear? All right. The third reaction is Friedel-Crafts acylation. You would have already studied this last year. Last year when you studied benzene and its reactions, one of the reaction was this Friedel-Crafts reaction. Friedel-Crafts reactions is of two types: Friedel-Crafts alkylation and Friedel-Crafts acylation. We carry out acylation. For acylation, I need an acyl chloride. Here, an acyl chloride or an acid chloride. It reacts with benzene. One of the hydrogens of benzene is taken away by chlorine. Chlorine takes away this hydrogen as HCl. So what is remaining here? I have this RCO group or ARCO. What is AR? AR is nothing but aryl. Now R is an alkyl group, AR is an aryl group. So I can either take an acyl halide which has an alkyl group, or I can take an acyl halide which has an aryl group. So depending upon what is the compound that I need to prepare. So when HCl is removed, what is remaining? I have RCO or ARCO remaining. This gets substituted in place of the hydrogen like this, COR or COAR, giving you RCOR dash, which is nothing but a ketone. But this will be an aromatic ketone because one of the R groups will be a benzene ring. I want you to prepare right now methyl phenyl ketone. I want you to prepare methyl phenyl ketone. I'll keep this reaction open for you so that you can refer. Now, as I told you just a few moments ago, you should be in a position to deduce the structure of methyl phenyl ketone in the first place. If you don't know the structure, you're lost. Done? Methyl phenyl ketone is what I wanted to prepare. Done? All right, so let's try to understand what the homework I gave, what's the work that I gave to you right now. I asked you to prepare methyl phenyl ketone. Now, methyl phenyl ketone is the common name. Clear? We follow the alphabetical order of writing the R groups which are bonded to the carbonyl carbon. Now, this is nothing but my phenyl group. Clear? C6H5 is nothing but my phenyl group. Benzene ring or C6H5 is nothing but my phenyl group. Now, who's methyl? So this has to be methyl. If this is methyl, it is nothing but CH3. So benzene C double bond O CH3 is nothing but methyl phenyl ketone. Now, if I need to get this compound, what I need to start with Of course, I need to start with benzene because this is the common reagent that is used. Here, the acid chloride should have R as what? R as CH3. Clear? So this should be CH3COCl, which is nothing but acetyl chloride. Who is that? Yes, acetyl chloride. So when acetyl chloride reacts with benzene in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, we get methyl phenyl ketone. Clear? All right, take a homework here. I want you to prepare benzophenone. I want you to prepare benzophenone. Benzophenone is also called as biphenyl ketone. Benzophenone is also called as what? Biphenyl ketone or diphenyl ketone. Anyone is fine. So as the name itself suggests, you should be in a position to deduce the structure. Biphenyl ketone means this is a ketone which contains two phenyl groups. Clear? So with this, I think it's easy for you to write down this reaction. Take this reaction as homework. Clear? Is this method clear? All right. This leads us to the methods of preparation of the last set of compounds that we are going to study in this chapter, which are carboxylic acids. And this method is something that we've already studied in the previous chapter, alcohols. Remember, oxidation of alcohols. We studied this as one of the properties there, properties of alcohols. Here, we are studying this as a method of preparation of carboxylic acids. I think you know the story. A primary alcohol upon oxidation will give you an aldehyde, which on further oxidation will give you a carboxylic acid containing the same number of carbon atoms as the alcohol. Whereas when I take a secondary alcohol, I get a ketone upon oxidation, which on further oxidation will give us a mixture of carboxylic acids, each having lesser number of carbon atoms than the starting alcohol. Remember, we spoke about mild oxidation, strong oxidation when we introduced this. Each one of these steps is mild oxidation. If I convert an alcohol to carboxylic acid directly, we called it as strong oxidation. I also gave you a homework at that point of time to make a list of mild and strong oxidizing agents and reducing agents. Clear? I hope you are able to recollect this reaction. Yes. So I will not be going into this reaction further because this was already done in alcohols. Just remember, this is one of the methods starting from alcohols. All right, coming to the second method, starting from alkyl benzene. Starting from alkyl benzene. Now this is my alkyl benzene. Who's this? This is nothing but toluene. Toluene is made to react with KMnO4 and KOH. Toluene is made to react with whom? KMnO4 and KOH. Now what is the nature of KMnO4? Yes, KMnO4 is a very good oxidizing agent. KMnO4 is what? It's a very good oxidizing agent. And what is an oxidizing agent? It carries out oxidation. Now, what is oxidation? Either addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. If any one of these two happens, then we call it as mild. If both of these happen in the same reaction, we call it as strong. Now, coming back to this reaction, Let's try to see what this compound gets converted to. Now, if you closely observe, CH3 here is getting converted to what? Getting converted to COOK. Clear? Now, what is going out, what is coming in? It is pretty obvious that the hydrogens have gone out. Now, I had 3 hydrogens here. When you look at this group here, I do not have a single hydrogen, which means hydrogens have gone out. Since hydrogens have gone out, the removal of hydrogen has taken place, indicating that this is oxidation. Now, along with that, what else has happened? Along with the removal of hydrogen, we have addition of oxygen. Can you observe here? 2 oxygen atoms have come in. So there is addition of oxygen as well, which is again oxidation. So therefore, this first step is nothing but strong oxidation. First step is what? Yes, the first step is strong oxidation. In the first step, an alkyl benzene undergoes strong oxidation to give a salt, a potassium salt of the carboxylic acid, because we are also introducing what? We are also introducing KOH. Clear? So we get the potassium salt. In the last step, I need to remove this potassium. How do I remove this potassium? I again put an acid. Clear? Acid hydrolysis. K goes out as KOH, and H plus gets replaced in place of K plus to form the carboxylic acid group. This is nothing but benzoic acid. What is the name of this acid? Benzoic acid. So how do we prepare a carboxylic acid starting from alkyl benzene? All you need to do is you need to start with the alkyl benzene, make it react with KMnO4, which is a strong oxidizing agent, and KOH, which is a base. The moment you add KMnO4, oxidation takes place. And which oxidation? Yes, strong oxidation takes place, where there is removal of both hydrogen and addition of oxygen. With the help of KOH, a salt is formed. This is potassium benzoate. What is the name of this? Yes, potassium benzoate, which is a salt of potassium and benzoic acid. Now in the last step, I need to remove the K plus. All I need to do is I will introduce an acid in the presence of water. Acid hydrolysis gives us benzoic acid. This is one more example. Here we are taking a propyl benzene. Now this was methyl benzene, which is nothing but toluene. Here we are taking what? We are taking propyl benzene, where the substituent is a propyl group, C3H7. Now when I take an alkyl benzene where the alkyl group has more than one carbon, then we get a mixture of acids. Let me repeat. When I take an alkyl group attached to benzene, and if that alkyl group contains more than one carbon, I get a mixture of acids, which is what is seen here. When I take propyl benzene, this R group, which contains 3 carbon atoms, gets split into 2 parts. The carbon which is bonded to benzene stays bonded. The other 2 carbons get split. Those 2 carbons will undergo oxidation to form this acid, which is acetic acid, which contains 2 carbon atoms. And the carbon that was already bonded to benzene undergoes oxidation once again to form benzoic acid. Clear? So I want you to remember this. If you start with butyl benzene, where you have 4 carbon atoms here, this R group gets split into 2 parts. The first part, where the carbon is bonded to benzene, becomes benzoic acid, and the second part, where there were 3 carbon atoms, it would have become propionic acid. Got that? Yeah. So I gave you this example just to make you understand that when I take an alkyl benzene, where R group contains more than one carbon atom, you get a mixture of carboxylic acids. Whereas when you start with methyl benzene or toluene, you only get one carboxylic acid, which is benzoic acid. Yeah, so I want you to remember this. There have been a couple of instances where this concept was asked in competitor. So make sure you understand this reaction. Clear? All right. From nitriles and amides. From nitriles and amides. Now you can see one similarity here. All the three compounds, aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids, can be obtained from nitriles. Clear? The methods may be different, but we get all the three starting from a nitrile. Now let's understand how we get a carboxylic acid from a nitrile. So this is a nitrile, RCN. So what we do is we react it with hydronium ion or acid in water. Now when I do that, O from this water forms a bond with carbon. Clear? Oxygen from water forms a bond with carbon to become RCO, to become this. Clear? The two hydrogens of water will add to nitrogen such that nitrogen becomes NH2. Clear? So let me repeat it once again. When a nitrile is made to react with acidulated water or water in the presence of an acid, the oxygen from the water gets added to carbon. Carbon will become C double bond O. It will become the carbonyl carbon. And the two hydrogens of water will add to nitrogen such that nitrogen becomes NH2. Now this CONH2 is nothing but an amide. So who is this? This is nothing but an amide. Now what's happening in the next step? You're again making it react with H3O plus. Why? Because H in H3O plus, water breaks down to give H plus and OH minus. H plus is taken away by NH2 to become NH3. H plus takes away NH2 to become NH3. So who's the other ion that's remaining? OH minus. OH minus gets substituted in place of NH2 to become a carboxylic acid. COOH is what is formed. Clear? So this is how we get a carboxylic acid, starting from a nitrile, giving an amide, and finally a carboxylic acid. So let me go through this reaction once again for you. We start with a nitrile. A nitrile is made to react with acidulated water or water in the presence of an acid. Oxygen of water gets added to carbon. Both the hydrogens of water gets added to nitrogen, giving an amide. And the amide is further made to react with H3O plus. H plus takes away NH2, or NH2 minus takes away H plus to go out as NH3. In place of NH2 minus, who's coming in? OH minus from water is coming in to become the carboxylic acid. So this is an example. If I had started with benzonitrile, C6H5 C triple bond N, in the presence of H3O plus, I would have got this compound, which is benzamide. Okay, this is benzamide. Benzamide upon hydrolysis will give us benzoic acid. Clear? Benzamide upon hydrolysis will give us benzoic acid. I want you to take a homework here. I want you to prepare acetic acid using this method. I want you to prepare acetic acid using this method starting from a nitrile. Clear? The next method involves a Grignard reagent. Now, Grignard reagent was also pretty common. We came across this in the preparation of ketones as well. So even here, a Grignard reagent is used. That's one of the reasons Grignard reagent is so useful. It can be practically used to prepare so many compounds. Hence, Grignard reagents are very, very useful. Coming to how it is prepared. A Grignard reagent is made to react with carbon dioxide. Is made to react with whom? Is made to react with carbon dioxide. Now, let us understand the polarities here. Now, we already know the polarities. This is partially negative. Magnesium is partially positive. Here, I've written complete charges here, but these are actually partial. Something that you have already understood. Same way, in carbon dioxide, oxygen is partially negative, carbon is partially positive. Clear? Yeah, because of inductive effect. Now this clearly indicates who will attack whom, or where will the carbon attack. Now naturally, this carbon will attack R. Clear? It will attack R because R is negatively charged. So entire carbon dioxide gets incorporated between R and MgX. So what's happening? The entire carbon dioxide molecule will attack the R minus and gets incorporated between R and MgX, giving us RCOO MgX. Clear? So RCO is minus, MgX plus. Now you can see a carboxylic acid here. Can you see a carboxylic acid? Yes, you can see a carboxylic acid here. All I need to do to ensure that I get the carboxylic acid is introduce H plus. So that's what we're going to do in the next step. In the next step, H plus is added such that this becomes RCOOH. Got that? And if I had OH minus, if I had taken water here, MgXOH would have been the other product. So how do we get a carboxylic acid from a Grignard reagent? You take a Grignard reagent and make it react with carbon dioxide. It initially forms an adduct, an addition compound, where CO2 gets incorporated between R and Mg to form the salt RCOO minus MgX. This is then made to react with an acid. An acid gives us H plus. This H plus is used up for the formation of a carboxylic acid. Clear? So this is the method involving a Grignard reagent. I've given a couple of examples so that you can understand. This is chloroethane or ethyl chloride, where it reacts with magnesium. We know it forms ethyl magnesium chloride, which is a Grignard reagent. This is made to react with carbon dioxide in the first step to form this adduct. In the second step, it is made to undergo acid hydrolysis to give us propanoic acid. Clear? We have 3 carbon atoms. We get 3 carbon atoms in the final compound because here the Grignard reagent has 2 carbon atoms and carbon dioxide comes in forming the third carbon, propanoic acid. So this is a reaction for an example, this is an example for a reaction involving ascent of series. Remember, you'd have studied 2 kinds of reactions in the last year. One is ascent of series and the other one is descent of series. Now, what is meant by ascent of series? Ascent of series is a reaction where the number of carbon atoms increase during the course of the reaction. Descent of series. Descent of series is a reaction where the number of carbons reduce. The number of carbons reduce when I start and end the reaction. Clear? Now this is a classic example of ascent of series because initially you will have Say if I have two carbons here, the final carboxylic acid will have more number of carbon atoms than the starting Grignard reagent. So this is preparation of benzoic acid from phenyl magnesium bromide. Same thing, two steps. First step, when carbon dioxide is added, you get an adduct. The second step, acid hydrolysis, will give us benzoic acid. Clear? All right. Acyl halides and acid anhydrides. Now, you came across acyl halides under ketones as well, preparation of ketones. Even here, acyl halides are used up. Now, acyl halide as a structure RCOX, which means you have an RCO group already there. All you need to do is you need to drive away this halogen and introduce OH. Who can do that job? The simplest reagent that can do that job is water. Because what will water do? H plus will take away the halogen to go out as HX. And who's remaining? OH minus. OH minus gets substituted in place of X to form the carboxylic acid by the process of hydrolysis. Pretty straightforward, simple. You can also prepare a carboxylic acid starting from an anhydride, acid anhydride. This is what is an acid anhydride, RCOOCOR. Clear? So this is what is an acid anhydride. Now, even here you can see a carboxylic acid. Can you see it? Yes, you can see a carboxylic acid here. Again, the reagent that is added is water. Now for this portion, now when an acid anhydride gives a carboxylic acid, what happens is this compound breaks. And it breaks here. Clear? This portion needs H plus. So H plus from water adds to this portion. When it adds to this portion, what do I get? RCOOH, clear? Which is a carboxylic acid. And what is the other product of lysis of water? OH minus. So OH minus adds to this portion. When OH minus adds to this portion, I get RCOOH, which is the other carboxylic acid. So you get two carboxylic acids when you start with an acid anhydride, whereas with an acyl halide, you only got one carboxylic acid, whereas you get two carboxylic acids when you start with an acid anhydride. There's a lot of homework in this lecture. I want you to start with acetic anhydride. I want you to start with acetic anhydride and find out who are the carboxylic acids that are obtained. Clear? For this, you should know what acetic anhydride is. So go back, find out the structure of acetic anhydride, and then complete this reaction. The last reaction for today, starting from an ester. Now, who is an ester? RCOO dash. If R is different, we call it as R dash. This is an ester. Now, even here, you can clearly see a carboxylic acid. Can you see that? Yes, you can clearly see a carboxylic acid. All you need is H plus. Clear? Now let's understand whether it gets removed like this or removed in a different way. All you need to do is you need to react an ester with water. Again, water gives us what? Water gives us H plus and OH minus. Now, when you closely observe the products here, do you observe this oxygen which is colored in gray being in the carboxylic acid or with the other R group? Observe. Yes, when you closely observe, the oxygen which is colored gray goes out with this R group to form the alcohol. Clear? Which means, where is that OH coming from, or where is that oxygen for the carboxylic acid coming from? It is not from here, it is in fact from water. So water breaks into H plus and OH minus. This compound also breaks into two parts. Now how does it break? It actually breaks here. It breaks here. RO minus gets added to H plus from water. So H plus will add to this portion. RO minus will take away H plus to become what? To become alcohol. So you can see that the hydrogen that is marked a colored blue is coming from water. So what is happening to this portion? To this portion, we add OH minus. Clear? And where is that OH minus again coming from? From water. OH minus from water gets added to this portion. So this portion will become what? RCOOH, which is what is seen here. Hence, the oxygen here is blue in color, is colored blue, indicating that the oxygen is coming from water. So very, very important reaction. Clear? We will study this as a chemical property sometime in the future in the same chapter. But here I want you to understand, when an ester is broken down to form a carboxylic acid and an alcohol, where is that OH coming from, or where is the oxygen coming from in the carboxylic acid is the question. So very, very important. Last homework for today. I want you to prepare acetic acid and methanol. I want you to prepare acetic acid and methanol using this method. So this should be the acetic acid and this should be methanol. So you need to find out what is the R group here, what is the R group here based on the compound that I've given you. That will give you the starting ester. Clear? All right, super. So a lot of homework for today. Make sure you spend some time to write the reactions and submit the same. We'll stop the class here. Until tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.